Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 97th episode of Don't Forget the Popcorn. Today, we're doing a request from my guy, Marlon Bellamy. He requested a movie that I've seen many times, a fun one, a silly one, and one a lot of you will likely think is dumb. But I'll tell you, if you like party movies, you gotta watch this one at least once. The film we will be talking about today is Project X, one of the nuttiest party movies ever made. Project X truly is an experience, and some may like that experience more than others, but that's what it is. Marlon, thank you for requesting this movie because I haven't seen it in a while, and it was just as fun as ever. I had a couple drinks and I had fun with it. Now, just because I'm saying I have fun with it and seen it a lot doesn't mean I'm about to sing this movie's praises because it's loaded with flaws. But like I said, it's an experience, and you have to take the good with the bad in this movie. So Project X came out in 2012, directed by Nima Nourizadeh, and it came out when I was in college and partying a lot. So this one has a special place in my heart. Now I don't party like this anymore because I'm a little older and I have responsibilities and shit, but watching this again brought the 20-year-old out of me. If you've ever been to a rager, this movie will hit home for you. This movie is shot almost documentary style with one of the friends shooting everything, an interesting goth kid who doesn't have parents. So we follow three friends who decide to throw a party at one of their houses for his birthday. Thomas, Costa, and JB. Dax is the guy recording. Now, most people wanted to see this movie for the party. But one thing I love about this movie is the setup. They show how the boys plan the party, getting the favors, getting dressed, worrying about all the stuff you do if you're throwing a party. I used to throw a party or two back in high school, and I loved hanging with my dudes, getting the crib prepped beforehand. They show the boys going to the store, grabbing weed, hiding all the house valuables, all the shit you do when you have a party when your folks are out of town. In this time, we get the personality of the boys involved. And let's keep it real, all these kids are nerds. Thomas is a regular kid who just wants to be cool on his birthday. JB is just that ride or die friend who's always around. But Costa is the one friend you don't want to have, the perpetuator of all of this. One of those guys who tries way too hard to be cool and when he just isn't at all. But also one of those guys who does, in a way, know how to make shit happen. And boy, does he. Now, this movie was a pretty big deal when it came out. I saw it in theaters and many times after. It was a fun movie I would just throw on while I was getting ready to go out. Watching now as an adult, it made me feel a lot of things. One, it made me think, man, I can't believe these kids threw a party like this. The adult in me was like, no, not the windows, the chandeliers, the bathroom, everything. Then the kid that has never left me was like, yeah, get it in, boys. Because let's keep it real, I'm just a big fucking kid at heart who has responsibilities. That's one thing I never noticed. This movie shows it from both angles. One from the kids and one from the adults. When you watch as a party crazed kid, you only see one side. But now that I'm an adult that still has fun, I can see it better with a clearer mind. Now, this movie is sort of tough to review because, on one hand, it's a movie that holds a very special place in my heart, but on the other, it is entirely unrealistic and kind of stupid at times. Not all of it. The entire setup leading to the party couldn't be more realistic. You have some loser kids who just want to be cool for one night, want to change their legacy in high school. They want the hot girls and the popularity. But the thing that this movie shows us is that all that can come at a major cost. This is, at its core, a coming of age movie. That is pretty different than most high school movies. The actors in this movie were relatively unknown at the time, which gives it a more realistic feel as well. Miles Teller is in it, playing himself, and the main guy is in Me and Earl and the Dying Girl, but that was some years later. I must say, though, the actors were good, especially Costa, even though he's a total piece of shit. We've all known characters like these in high school, especially if you were in high school when this movie came out, because I feel like high school is not like this anymore. But let's get into why you all came for the party. The party is everything in this movie, and they build it up really nicely, layering the events of the party in perfectly. If you're ever thrown a party, you'll be able to relate to this. Worrying if anyone is going to come. Then when they do come, you worry if they're going to respect your house. Then you have those times where you just go hide away from your party for a minute and just collect your thoughts, reconvene with your friends, or just smoke a fat VIP joint with the main homies. It's the little things in this movie that tie it together, the little touches. So let's talk about this party a bit. Thomas's house is huge, nice suburban neighborhood in Pasadena. I mean, I wouldn't want to throw a party in a house this nice. I'd have some get-togethers, but a rager? Nah, too much stuff to look after. His dad's $68,000 plus car is in there, a nice silver Benz. The house is filled with great valuables, and there's so much glass. Nevertheless, the boys have a great idea to have the party out back. It's great weather. They have a pool and a kick-ass DJ. Now let's talk about that. This movie has some of the best rap music that was out at the time of this movie's release. Eminem, Nas, J. Cole, Wale, Kid Cudi, Lloyd Banks. The soundtrack was booming. It's one of the best parts of this movie and really paces it along. The soundtrack is perfectly picked to highlight the scenes. Well, this party is going pretty well. A great turnout. People are having so much fun. But I mean, it's only a matter of time until substances come into the picture and things get a little nutty. Miles Teller shows up and brings a bunch of chicks through on a party bus, and Thomas breaks his main rule of the party. No one coming into the house. The girl he likes plus the popular guys being there, I know he felt a lot of pressure to just go with the flow. Truthfully, I have no clue what I've done at 18 years old and I was in that situation. You built yourself up to all this and it's kind of your moment. Do you roll or fold? Well, he folds and the party is in the house and out back. There is this garden gnome that Costa stole from the guy they bought weed from, T-Rig. T-Rig was clearly pissed about this as he chased them down the street for it. They get it back home safely, and while at the party, Miles Teller busts the gnome open with a baseball bat, and inside was probably over 1,000 ecstasy pills. They shoot all over the lawn, and this is when the party gets essentially out of control. 1,000 plus people all rolling, drunk, and just having a good ass time. Respect for the house is going out the window. People are getting loose as fuck and really having some fun. At this point, this party, I love to be in attendance at, but not the host of. So much stuff starts to happen, and the way it's shot and edited really feels like someone who just at a party with the camera documenting all the craziest stuff. Neighbor comes over to ask him to shut it down, and he ends up punching a little kid in the face hard as hell. The cops come through and they fool them into thinking the party is over. Thomas is really starting to panic as the party is out of control, and Costa reveals that the party was advertised on Craigslist, email blasts, and on radio stations. Thomas is pissed, but Costa ends up giving him an ecstasy pill, and that's when life is reinvigorated in him. He starts to have some fun and let loose himself. He's dancing, drinking, laying around the grass as the substances roll through his body nicely. He is ignoring his parents' phone calls and the fact that his party, although success, is gonna have some huge consequences. Shit is broken everywhere. People are in the streets acting a fool. The party is huge and completely out of control. I mean, I've been to some ragers at some rich people's cribs before, but this party had body and volume, a life and a heartbeat like I've never seen in a neighborhood house party. Thomas ends up actually hooking up with the hot girl from school he's been dreaming about. Shit is going well. A perfect have fun night. And we'll deal with it tomorrow type situation. But some things go wrong with that, and Thomas realizes the gravity of the situation. Shit is 1,000% insane. We shift gears crazy, and I'm not going to spoil everything in the finale because that's one, if you haven't seen, you got to see for yourself. I have issues with the finale, though, on a personal level and on a level of realism. This party, in reality, wouldn't have gotten this crazy for a few reasons. One, most people would start leaving when things started getting to a certain level. The complaints and calls from the neighborhood would have prompted much harsher and stricter actions from the police much sooner than it happened. A part of me wanted this movie to have a certain type of ending. An ending that I don't know was maybe happy, but this film does take a realistic approach on how it deals with our boys in the aftermath of the party. But what really chaps my ass is Thomas. Thomas gets the short end of the stick and is shoved right up his ass. A good kid whose life is significantly about to change after this night, and probably not for the better. I couldn't imagine being this kid and what his life is about to be. But one thing he can say is he is now a fucking legend at his school, cemented for life. Is Project X a perfect movie? No. If you gave it another director, you get an entirely different movie. But the party is still very fun. I imagine making this movie was the bomb. Everybody probably had a good time. Essentially building a house party in your vision. This is a simple film with simple themes, but they do work. I had a great time watching this movie for this review, just like I did watching it back when it came out. I would highly advise some Gen Z kids to watch this movie to see how the millennials got down. I advise the older generation to watch this to see how kids are getting down now. We've seen party movies for decades. Animal House is one of my favorites, and that's back in the 70s. Will I say Project X is on the level of that, or even my favorite party movie, House Party from the 90s? I'll say no, but damn, it's still a hell of a time. So, having said all that, I will give Project X a 7.4 out of 10. Guys, thank you for watching my Project X review. Let me know if there's a film or topic you would like me to review. Like and subscribe and help me out. I appreciate it. Follow me on Letterboxd, Ralph Vader. I'll link that below. I got a podcast with my buddy, The Cutting Room Floor. I'll link that below for more movie content. I will be back next week. And don't forget the popcorn.